Okay, so have you seen any of this AI art that's floating around online?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy stuff, right?
Yeah, it's really something else.
Like some of it's so good, you almost can't believe like a human actually sat down and like painted it or drew it.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're diving into today is like how AI is really like changing the entire landscape of like what we even consider art.
It really is.
And to give everyone like a quick breakdown,
Yeah.
I mean, basically you can like type in pretty much anything you want into one of these AI art generators and it will create an image based on that.
You can describe what you want and the computer just kind of spits it out.
Yeah, you can be like cat riding a unicorn through space and
Yeah.
boom,
Right there.
you got it.
It's really incredible.
But it's not just about, making crazy pictures quickly.
Right.
I was reading this article on AITV about it, and it really seems like artists are using these tools in some pretty cool ways.
Yeah.
Like they're using them to experiment and kind of explore new ideas that they may not have been able to before.
Definitely.
And in a lot of cases, it seems like AI is almost allowing for like a whole new level of creative expression.
Absolutely. And you know what's really crazy is that some of this AI art is so realistic that it's pretty much impossible to tell it apart from a human-made piece.
Really?
Yeah. There was actually this case where an AI-generated piece of artwork ended up winning a fine art competition.
Wow.
And it completely fooled all of the judges.
They had no idea.
They had no idea.
Oh, that's so interesting. So, I mean, it's obviously like a super impressive technology,
Yeah.
but I'm sure not everyone is like super thrilled about it.
Well, there are definitely some people who are a little bit hesitant about this whole AI art thing.
Yeah, I bet.
And one of the biggest arguments against it is this idea that it just lacks that human touch.
Right.
That like real genuine creativity that comes from lived experiences and emotion.
Okay.
And like, things that AI, at least for now, just doesn't possess. So it really raises the question, like, can something really be considered art if it's essentially based on algorithms and pre-existing data?
Right. So is it more like a really, really like advanced remix, or is it actually like original thought?
Exactly.
I know, that's a tough one.
That's a really tough question.
Yeah.
And then you also have to think about all of the ethical implications.
Right.
Especially when it comes to like how these AI systems are actually trained.
Yeah. How does that all work?
Yeah. So a lot of them are actually using these massive data sets of images that are scraped from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that's done without the original artist's permission.
Oh, wow.
Which kind of brings up a whole bunch of concerns about copyright infringement and exploitation.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because I remember I saw this AI-generated portrait one time, and it looked exactly like my grandmother.
Really?
It was the craziest thing.
Wow.
And I was like fascinated by it, but it was also kind of creepy.
I bet.
Because it's like, where did they get the data to create that? Like, did they use a picture of my grandmother?
Yeah. And what are the implications of that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what could that be used for?
Yeah. It's a little scary.
It is a little bit frightening.
And of course, we have to talk about like the big elephant in the room here,
Yeah.
which is the idea that AI is going to completely replace human artists.
Yeah, the whole robots are taking over thing.
Right. Like we're all out of a job.
Right.
But the AITV article did mention some counter arguments to that too, right?
Yeah, there are definitely some other perspectives out there, and it's important to consider all sides of this.
Okay.
A lot of people actually argue that AI art is really just a tool.
Okay.
It's like a digital paintbrush or the 3D modeling software.
Mm-hmm.
It's not meant to like eliminate human creativity. It's meant to enhance it and expand it.
Yeah.
It's more like a collaboration between a human and a machine.
So it's not us versus them. It's like us working together with them.
Exactly.
Okay. That's fair.
And actually, the AITV article quoted this one really well-known digital artist, and they said, AI isn't the death of art, it's the birth of a new era.
Oh, wow.
And, the truth is, AI art is here to stay, whether we like it or not.
That's true. Yeah. There's no escaping it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where do we go from here? Like, what does the future hold for AI art?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the technology is developing at such an incredible pace.
It's crazy.
It's almost impossible to predict what these systems will be able to create in a few years, let alone a few decades.
I mean, it's mind-boggling to even think about.
It really is.
Like, will AI ever be able to just break free from, like, mimicking human styles?
Right.
And, like, develop its own unique form of art?
That's a really fascinating question.
Yeah.
And what happens if AI does become undeniably better than humans at creating art?
Mm,
Does that diminish human creativity, or does it push us to evolve and explore new artistic frontiers?
that's deep.
It's a lot to think about,
Yeah,
but I think for now, the best thing we can all do is just explore this world for ourselves,
I agree.
see what it's all about.
Yeah. And maybe even like try making some AI art yourself.
Yeah, you never know. You might surprise yourself.
You might discover something really cool.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, this has been a really interesting deep dive.
It has.
I'm excited to see what happens with this whole AI art thing in the future.
Me too.
It'll be interesting to follow along.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
This was fun.
It was great.
All right, everyone. Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.